Everyone. Today we're diving into a powerful tool for pain relief in this live stream, and that is essential oils. If you've ever wondered how these natural plant extracts can support your body's healing, reduce inflammation, and bring a sense of calm, then you are in the right place. I'm very excited to have a special guest here today, Kim Ureta. But she'll be showing us the best essential oils for pain relief and how they work on a physiological and nervous system level and how to use them effectively. So Kim, would love to have you take it from here and would just love to hear a little bit more about you and what you have in store for us today.
Thanks, Jenna. I appreciate you having me here and we can share with people just these like really simple tools that everybody should know. Especially the the world is hurting and people need what they can just have at home and be able to support themselves and their family and not feel afraid and um yeah, when you've been through it, you've been through it, you know what I'm talking about. So my name's Kim Ureta. I have a hot Latin husband, so that's why I have that last name. Otherwise, it's Hinton. It's very,
Okay, that makes
very
sense.
English and European. But I have a friend of mine here that popped by. Her name's Alora, so I'll be chatting with her too because she's got great testimonies. Um, let's see. I've been in pain my whole life. I was born with scoliosis. So at, age 5 and 6, I was going to the chiropractor twice a week. They've always kind of been talking to me about getting the rods in my spine. They're like, at some point, this is like something they're talking to a 5-year-old about. At some point, she's going to need a major surgery. Like, who does that to a 5-year-old,
Yeah.
It
I didn't
changes.
know that about you. Wow, I'm a scoliosis sister with you. I was told the same thing, not at that age, but more like as a teenager. But
Yeah, it's weird. It does something to your like what you believe about yourself and what you're capable of. And
right.
it's a good thing I think that I sense it in you too. We both have a little bit of that, well, fuck you. Like, no, no. Oh, you're not gonna get me.
Right.
So you have to have a little bit of fire in you to be able to get through things. So I was going to the chiropractor. My mother was also in quite a bit of pain with scoliosis, so I was watching my future and this victim mentality thing happening and how her relationships were breaking down because of the relationship she had with her body and with others and how she manipulated people with that. And it's a really big piece on living with pain and how that affects every asset of your or facet of your life. So
Definitely.
emotionally, that's why it was really important for me to bring in all the tools to be able to, like, how do I be me and how do I not use this, you know, to weird people out, I guess. I don't know. I'm talking about the manipulation factor. So fast forward, and I'm 18. I'd been massaging my mom all my life because she was in pain. She'd be like, I'll pay you $1 to rub my back. And I'm like, I think I'm going to be a massage therapist because that's something I'm good at. So I went to massage school. I went on to the Rolf Institute, which is in Boulder, Colorado. It's kind of like creme de la creme of body work. So I went there for, 4 years that it took me to do that. And um, just like probably about 12 years of doing that type of work. And if you've ever received Rolfing or you've known people that do that type of work, it's pretty grueling. I mean, because you end up being kind of like people's hamstring guy. You're like, you get these CrossFit beast people and they come in and you're like, come on, get in. And you're like, oh my God. So I naturally kind of moved toward how do I soften what I'm working with? How do I work with nerves? How can I support my clients so that I don't have to do so much work for them? And about 14 years ago, I came upon essential oils and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I can incorporate this into what I'm doing. I don't have to work as hard. So I have blends of oils that I really prefer, but I want to talk about single oils. One of the first oils that I ever came across was frankincense. Oh my gosh. Like so anti-inflammatory, so calming to your system. So just real easy, like how I can share with somebody is just I'm just slathering them topically, obviously, because it's just like it takes them from like a 10 to like a 2 in a 3-minute time period. But for therapeutic purposes, I'm going to share with you what I do for myself. So you can follow along. Jenna, I sent you some oils. You can try just add a drop to your hand and I'm going to show you what I do and what I teach my clients to do.
Okay,
I'm using
great.
frankincense. You can use copaiba.
Hmm.
So I'm going to do that and I'll share with Alora too. So you want to make sure your sit bones are seated in your chair. One moment.
So, while Kim is
Okay.
muted for a second, I just wanted to welcome a couple people to the group. Welcome Maggie, who I see is watching, and there was a comment also just in the chat, back, neck, and digestive issues is what someone said that is the greatest challenge they're experiencing right now. So if anyone else is watching and you want to pop in the chat kind of what's going on for you specifically with your body so that we can also kind of tailor this towards you and what you need, then let us know. You can either put that in, if you're on Zoom, put that in the Zoom chat, or if you're on Facebook, put it in there.
Thank you, Jenna. So you said, who said that? Back, neck, and stomach issues? Oh, that was Alora. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make sure that I share that. So first things first, we really want to get your nervous system to land and come down. When we are in pain, our body is naturally making these specific markers on our liver go up, the inflammatory markers, and they're also making your cortisol and your adrenaline go up. So we want to get that to come down. We want you to come out of fight or flight, and that's naturally going to be a pain reliever. So that's the first step. So you're going to make sure your sit bones are solid in your chair. You're going to make sure your feet are solid on the ground. And I'm just going to rub my hands together vigorously. We're trying to create some heat.
You resent my advice, our talks? Oh, wow. It's just that she ended up nothing better. Don't say that word again. What word?
It's on iPhone 8. Maybe you can mute yourself, please.
Anyway, it's in the past, Mama. Just forget it. Mother has to be so handy with the children.
We can mute her.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just muted. Sorry about that.
Okay. So as we're, doing this, what you'll notice is it's a bit hard to think about anything but what you're doing. You're just here in your body right here in this moment. You can't be in the past. You can't be in the future. You can just be here right now. And now that we've done that, we're going to bring our hands and we're going to cup over the nose and mouth. You can close your eyes and take 4 deep breaths. Softening the shoulders. With every exhale, allowing your shoulders to drop more. So now we're going to take the hands, we're going to create kind of like a little tension here. And you're going to just bring them apart a little bit. So I'll show you from the side what this looks like. So as it's like at chin level, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slowly keep that tension, soft jaw, and I'm going to let my eyes follow my hands as they slowly raise. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. And just go as high as is comfortable, keeping your eyes on your hands, keeping that tension between the hands here. And then drop. You can shake it out. So these are just some beginner tactics on how to get your body out of that fight or flight. We're trying to stimulate that vagus nerve. My next thing I'm going to do, and generally I do this with a little combination. I have a somatic facial blend that I use. That's frankincense, yarrow, copaiba. What else did I put in there? I think there's one more thing. I'll look at it. But I
Sounds
use
so
it.
nice.
I love it so much. Oh, it's castor oil. Castor
Mm.
oil, the
Can I
almond.
just ask really quick? So if, say people are tuning in, they want to do this right away, they don't have frankincense or any of these oils. Can they use a more common oil like lavender essential oil or something they might have lying around?
Yeah, just use what you have right now. I'll explain like why I'm choosing what I'm choosing. But right now, I'm just teaching really basic, like get in your body, stimulate your vagus nerve, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, you can use what you've got for the moment. So I create kind of a little, like you can do peace, what is it? Love and prosper. You know what I'm talking about, the Star Trek thing. So I go around the ears. So just in that back of the bone there and in the front of the ear, and I'm gonna keep my mouth really soft. I'm gonna make sure my lower back is nice and juicy, so I might wiggle. And I'm just kind of massaging up and down. You can kind of feel like the eustachian tube opening up a little bit. I catch myself doing this just constantly because I just like it's so soothing, you know, to get to this place right here. So I just do that for a little bit. The next thing that we're gonna do is you're gonna put your thumb behind the lobe of your ear and you're just gonna squeeze. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull down. So feel the stretch and then back. Make sure your lower back and your belly are really not holding there. And you might incorporate some sighs. And notice which ear is tighter. Does it correlate with the tight side of your neck? Because I have a left side that's a little bit tighter over here. Now we're gonna move just the center of the lobe. So you gotta put your finger like in the ear hole and then put your thumb behind, and then you're gonna slide out a little bit. So you're gonna pull out away from your skull and then back and feel that stretch. And you can let the elbows drop in a little if it helps relax your body. You can get some sighs in here. And notice if there's any pain. What's coming up in your body? So now I'm going to take the little oven mitt fingers and I'm going to go to the top of the ears. And now my thumb is going to come to the front. So the fingers go to the back because I'm going to go to the top of the ear. Thumb goes in here. I'm going to lift up and back. And then soften the elbows. And then release. So the next movement I'm going to show you, and this is, I do incorporate my oils with this. So I'm using frankincense, I'm using my blend that has the yarrow and the copaiba and the castor oil. So you can add more oil to your hand, whatever you've got on hand, just to follow along with these movements. But I'm going to show you something that they use in, shoot, what's the word? Somatic experiencing. So what you do is you bring your right hand over your left shoulder and then your left hand over. So you're giving yourself a hug. And we're going to breathe in a big breath, and we're going to exhale the word VOO, VOO. So take a breath in. VOO. So we'll do 3 more. Breath in. VOO. Might notice your body wanting to sway. This is kind of like that natural, creating a safe container for yourself. This is a really helpful tool if you've been in a room with a bunch of assholes and you're like, I need to get out of here. Go in the bathroom and you can create this like super safe, like everything inside of my body I have control over. I have control over my behavior. I can support myself in my tools. Um, I know that when I'm in pain, I can be angry. I can have a shorter fuse. So, if you can hear it in my voice. And if you were to speak, Jenna, I don't know if you'll, don't you love that drop in? You're like, I'm in my diaphragm now. I'm the real me.
Yes. And I love that VOO sound is one of the most powerful tools for nervous system regulation that I've found. It's my go-to, but I've never done it with the hugging. I've done those two separately, but bringing them together is even more powerful. I love that. I'm definitely going to use that one.
Oh, good. How
Thank
did you feel about the ears?
That was really good too. Yeah, and all the acupressure points in there, and I can imagine with the oils that even amplifies that more. So really, really powerful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And for people that are also tuning in, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but if you don't have oils, then just join us in some of these exercises. You'll benefit with these as well. And then Kim's going to share a little bit more about, how you can find these oils and where you can get them if you don't have them, but you can still join in some of these somatic exercises, right?
Yeah. So I love putting them together, and you're going to get an even more like accelerated result when you use the essential oils because you're changing your brain chemistry like really fast. And you're also creating new neural pathways. So that I call them deer trails. Like when you're going hiking and you can see the little path, where it's all skinny through the grass, like the little it's like, oh, I'm going to go find some water. And it goes every day, that same little path. So when we create a new habit and we're trying to change our response to things, like I remember that thing caused me pain, I automatically go into fight or flight. And then it makes my adrenaline go up, it makes my cortisol go up, it makes my pain worse. In the past, I didn't get to this part of my story, but I had a major neck injury and I was like debilitated for almost 3 years. And it was really, really scary to go from, I had the diagnosis of the scoliosis. I had kind of like become this very strong person and the very empowered person through going to the Rolf Institute and all of the exercises that I did that I felt like I could protect myself, that I had full control over my pain. And then to be seriously injured, it was like a huge blow to my ego and who I was, which I don't, Jenna, if you've experienced something like that.
Yeah, I have a similar story about realizing I had stenosis in my neck and the nerve pain I was experiencing, and also how humbling that was being a dancer and having to stop dancing. So we should do a whole nother live stream on how we've recovered from our neck injuries and scoliosis, but definitely these exercises as well, the more you can bring your nervous system back into balance and create that tone in your nervous system, it's just going to help balance out everything in your body, no matter what you have going on.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like if the more stress you're unnecessarily having, it's like slowing down all your healing, you know? So it's like we're just removing the rocks from the sprockets so that all the little things are spinning and doing what they're supposed to be doing. So after with that neck injury, I had been kind of searching and, going with all of the different holistic things that I knew. I bought like a $5,000, um, what you call it? What is my thing called? I don't know. I'm losing my words right now. The microcurrent machine, which I know a lot of people are using a lot of microcurrent. It helped. It did help a lot, but it wasn't like it didn't fix it, you know? I still was really dealing with like a lot of trouble in there. So, I'd been using my oils and that had been supporting me, but the company that makes my oils, doTERRA, they came out with a collagen that has an essential oil blend in it. So it's marine collagen. And I just started taking it. I'm like, all right, because I've been in this company for 15 years. I've been recommending their oils for all this time. So I'm like, we'll just see what happens. After spending like thousands and thousands of dollars on acupuncture and all these alternative therapies, the dumb collagen is what fixed it. It's like, what? Like, so I always share with everybody about that. I'm like, okay, if you're vegan, like, it's okay. It's a fish. It's not furry. It's not like a dog. I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna have to suck it up and try it because it helps so much. Like, you need something to heal the mile and sheath, you know? And I've
Yeah,
talked 3 vegans into doing it. Guess what fixed their pain? The fish.
I
So
love it.
I'm like, I'm sorry, it's the vegan thing is not gonna hand work for this. So I mixed this with water. They made a pomegranate flavor, which thank God they did. The other one, it tastes fine. I'm okay with things not tasting great, but it's nice when things do taste good. So
Mhm.
I started taking that and it made such a huge difference for me. So I won't ever stop drinking that. So it has a blend of lemon, peppermint, cinnamon. What's the other one that's in there? It's not ginger. Anyway, I'll post what's in it. But I
That's
mean
great
that
to have that suggestion too, because there's so many collagen powders out there now. It's such a popular thing and such a trend, and there's a lot of gimmicks out there too, and products out there that don't work. So, yeah,
I tried so many. Like I was on what's that popular one that everybody takes from Costco? It's like blue.
the vital
Vital proteins.
or
I took that
something.
for years. I just put it in my coffee like, most people do. They're like, "Oh, because I was told you need to take collagen for your bones and everything." But that's made out of like cow bones and cock's combs like from chicken, which I find disgusting.
Right.
And what I noticed is that I talked to other people about it and they said, I can't take that stuff. It makes me feel angry. And I'm like, weird.
Interesting.
So there's something hormonal about that, Like,
Mhm.
I don't like it. So it didn't really ever do anything for me anyway. And then when I switched to this one, there's 9 different types of collagen in it that it's all from marine. It's from these fish from the not the Caribbean, what's the other one? The Mediterranean. So they're like ABBA fish. They're like singing ABBA. And the other thing I take when I first started using oils, I just use frankincense straight under my tongue as like my anti-inflammatory. And now they have it in a capsule and it's mixed. So it's not just the oil, it's also the boswellic acid. So you're getting the whole resin part of the plant. If you don't know where frankincense comes from, it's from the Middle East. This is specifically from Somaliland. So they have a government contract to make sure that the people that are farming, that they're actually being paid. Before doTERRA stepped in, it was actually like, these are ancestral people that have had this land for thousands of years. And they had their sheik that was managing like where their money was coming from. They weren't actually receiving any money. They were just getting like trade goods. but they were basically being ripped off. So doTERRA, when they came in and they partnered with the farmers and they were like, you don't need a middleman, we'll just pay you. It's like, cool. So we really like that it's helping those people. But it's they have to rock climb because these frankincense trees grow out of a crag, like out of a rock, and then they have to scrape the bark and then the resin tears come down and then that's how they're able to get it. So
Um,
people buy like they can get it. You can like it's the industry has changed so much in the past 15 years. Like you can go to Walmart and get a bottle of frankincense. Like what do you think is in that? It's not frankincense. So I just share with people about, like what this looks like because it's become such a booming industry and it's in everything, it's marketed everything. So basically what happens is now China, they know how to make those scents in a lab. And then how do you get an FDA approval for organic? You just have to pay for it, right? And all it has to show is that it never had pesticides in it. So if it never was a plant and it never had to grow, it never had pesticides in it. It's organic because they paid for it, right? So that's what people tell me. They're like, mine says organic. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. It has to, I want to know the farmer. I want to see like who traveled to go partner with these people and pay them correctly, not just like I'm going to go buy their land and now I'm going to employ them and steal their ancestral land. Like I want to partner with them and I want them to be paid well and I want the correct thing to come back here. So
really
the
important where you get these oils and how you source them, for
yeah,
sure.
big time. And I mean, you don't want weird China lab scent. It's like going to Starbucks and getting strawberry flavored Torani or vanilla in your coffee. Like, do you really think you're getting strawberry or vanilla? No. So
Very different.
it's very important. And then the other piece is I talk to people like at farmers markets and they're like, well, I have lavender in my yard. I'm like, yeah. So if you live in San Diego and lavender grows in 75-degree temperature, like, do you think that it ever had to struggle or like overcome anything? No. So a plant is just like a person. It has to have character. So it goes through things, and that's what creates an immune system response in the plant, which actually has medicinal value. So wherever that plant was meant to grow, where like, higher power like planted it around the world. So lavender in the south of France, tea tree in Australia, peppermint in Washington State, lemon in Italy, limoncello. Like it has to come from the region it's meant to come from so that you can have that actual medicinal quality from the plant because it had an immune system response. Not just like I live in Southern California and I have a lemon tree. Like that doesn't work.
All
So,
right, so don't make essential oils yourself from your lemon tree in Southern California. Could
well,
you talk to us a little bit more about the anti-inflammatory properties and benefits of these essential oils?
yeah, so in frankincense, it's really high in sesquiterpenes. So sesquiterpenes are the part that calm your nervous system in your brain. So that's why I use it for an antidepressant. That's a whole nother story. And then it's why I'm able to use it in my body. And I know the purity that it's going to work on the inflammation in my liver, which is supporting everything. So I use frankincense and then I use another oil called copaiba, and I use that topically. So both can be used topically, internally. I use it in a diffuser. Um, so like if I had a blend, so say like for example, if I was having like a spasm and I was having trouble going to sleep. So I would take like 2 drops of the copaiba, 2 drops of frankincense, and I would use, this is deep blue. This is a blend. It's helichrysum and peppermint and osmanthus and um, there's a few other oils in there, but like you feel like it's kind of like a yummier version of Bengay, but Bengay is yuck. How would you describe it, Jenna?
Yeah, and this stick that you gave me is different than that cream, right?
Yeah,
Has
so
this,
the stick is more hands-free and it has copaiba in it. So they
okay,
blended that,
on
what
right
they
now.
added that. This is more like sharing friendly. Like if I'm somewhere and someone's like, "Oh, my knee is hurting," then I can just give them a little bit. The stick is more for like personal use, because it's like kind of like a deodorant stick. I mean, you'd share it with someone that's not gross. But I like this more for like massaging larger areas. And I like the stick for more like on the go. So, like if I'm in the car, I don't want to get this on my hands and then accidentally rub my eye. Like, so
Right.
they're used for different reasons.
That's a good reason to use this. But this, I mean, obviously this is way better than Bengay or even like I know a lot of people in the holistic world are into things like Tiger Balm, and this is just so much better.
Well,
And
a
it
lot of
doesn't
times
burn
the
like painfully, but it has just like the right amount of heat and cooling to it.
You want to make sure you don't put it on right after like a hot shower or bath because your pores are open. So you'll get that like super sting, like hot, like icy hot. So you don't want that. Always put it on when your skin is cool and your pores are closed so that you don't get that like burning feeling. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's so helpful just to have around for any kind of muscle spasm, especially if you've had a hard workout or you just turned weird or did something funny. It just makes it so you don't have to like run to ibuprofen or Tylenol. It's like we're all trying to avoid taking it, right? We sneak it once in a while, but like I don't want to do that. So I have these tools so that I don't have to. For my preventative blend or protocols that I'm doing, I'm using that collagen with the essential oil blend in it. I'm using frankincense, I'm using turmeric, and I'm using copaiba. So I have all those in essential oil blend for topical use, or I could make my own capsules, but doTERRA, the company that I trust, they put them in capsules. So I just take these. If I'm having like a bad couple days, I'll take it twice a day. But generally, I'm just taking one of each before I go to bed at night. And that's like my anti-inflammatory protocol.
So
But
can you tell us what you have there? You have turmeric, copaiba, and what was the other one?
frankincense.
Frankincense, and those are capsules that you
Yeah.
take.
So, and you can get them in the oil blend, but I'll tell you the turmeric, if you've grated it raw,
Mhm.
like how bad it stinks. So you would
Strong.
appreciate the fact it being in a capsule so that you don't have to deal with that. So, yeah. And turmeric what they call like the fire hose of essential oils because it's so good at just clearing out mucus that causes inflammation in your body. So, a lot of times when people have pain in a joint, the body is just throwing more and more mucus at it to try to like encapsulate what's happening. But you need to clear it out, to be able to work on that. So I love
Interesting.
yeah. So I love
Would you
turmeric for,
say,
I'm also
yeah,
using it in my parasite cleanse because of the fire hose nature.
right. I know people know of turmeric for an anti-inflammatory, but I think frankincense is maybe one people don't know as well. Do they kind of work in the same way, or you're saying turmeric is the fire hose, so is frankincense more subtle than that, or what is the difference between the
Frankincense is
two?
more like it goes in and it's supporting the organs. Turmeric is like, all right, everybody, get out. Frankincense like, how are you doing? Can I help? Can I give you a hug? And turmeric's like, get the you got to get out of here. And then Copaiba is another like warm hug situation, and that's gonna help like support healing tissues and tendons, and lemongrass does that as well. I can write out some recipes after this so people can see like what would I use for like a ligament and tendon injury, what would I be using for muscle spasm, plantar fasciitis, some like really obvious things, people dealing with TMJ, TMD.
Yeah, that would be great. Anyone that's watching right now, feel free to comment below if there's anything you have going on that you want us to talk about more specifically. What would you suggest for plantar fasciitis? That's an interesting one. I've never heard of essential oils for that.
Oh, well, for heaven's sake, the deep blue. That deep blue is a miracle for that. And I don't know if you guys saw in my intro when Jenna had posted, but I teach something called Yamana body rolling, and I use these little foot. Do I have one right here? Here's my foot wakers. I have it over
I
here.
love the foot wakers. They're so good. They're like little domes if people haven't seen them before with spiky hedgehogs. My client used to call them the hedgehogs.
Yeah, they have them on Amazon, but they're not like they don't have any give. You don't want the yucky China ones. These ones are from Italy. So they're not made of like off-gassing yucky plastics. They actually smell like a kind of like a chocolate. My friend Elora is here. They have kind of like a chocolatey.
Chocolate plastic, that's much better than the yucky plastic.
Yeah, I don't like that smell. I love scents, and because I'm so trained on what's good now, like I can automatically go like what is that? That's not right. So I will actually recommend these to people because you really want to work on, that thickening that's happening in the calcaneus. But then I tell people to massage their feet with the deep blue at night, and that helps a lot.
Oh, I wish I would have known that when I had plantar fasciitis. That would have been good.
I've never had it, but I've had a lot of clients that come in, they're like, I've been on disability for a year, and they get a session with me and they're like, why didn't I come a year ago when my wife told me? I'm like, I don't know. But you're here now.
Never too late.
So, um, what's some common thing? Well, what are some things that your clients come with and I can share?
Low back pain is probably the number one most common thing that 80% of the population experience. So that could be something to talk about. Hip pain.
Okay. I mean, I use lemongrass, copaiba, and the deep blue and frankincense, and that like you just rub it in and it's just like a miracle.
Okay,
But
so why lemongrass?
oh, lemongrass is so anti-spasm and it works on healing the tissue. It's just,
Cool.
like amazing. Yeah. I love lemongrass. It's magic. Well, this is Alora.
Okay.
Tell her what you've used that has helped in the past.
Deep Blue definitely is like a go-to. I'm unfortunately one of those ones that I advocate for everybody else in their pain, and I'm like jumping on it and doing research and trying to see how I can help them. And then when I have my own pain, I kind of go into this bubble and go, oh, I should be taking care of myself too. So we are starting to work on that a little bit better. And I just started with the collagen because I've been taking another collagen that I don't think is necessarily doing what I need it to do because I have residual from a car crash. So I have back and neck pain through my hip, my body alignment out for a long time from going from bedbound to wheelchair to crutches, cam walker, all those things. Not knowing, I was just blessed to heal. So didn't know I was throwing everything else out. So I do TMJ and all that. So with that process, that's why I use doTERRA. I know the safety, the protocol, what they do, and how scientifically they are involved to make sure that everything you're taking in, they let you know whether it's topical, whether it's aromatic, whether it's ingestible, whether, so 100% when you're taking something, the validity behind that and the care and concern that they put in the background and the research to make sure this is going to help you. And so Deep Blue is one of my constant go-tos. I've been dealing with, I don't know if I'm saying it right, the intercostal muscle spasms.
Aw.
And life has just kind of thrown me a different loop. And so I'm babying it and I'm doing Deep Blue twice a day, morning and night, and then doing stretches and finding that I'm slowly starting to move again. But I'm kind of trying to come back to my resources, which is why I'm here tonight to remind myself these tools are here and how valuable they are.
Yeah.
Great.
It's really powerful when you have people like Jenna and I, because like we know movement, we know bodies. So you can take, these tools and just enhance like what we teach you, like go do the movement so that you can help your body like find its way out of that little turtle shell it got stuck in.
Exactly. So Maggie also was wondering for eczema, is there anything that you suggest?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I use Yarrow Palm. My son, he's a year old. He got triggered with eczema after he had a surgery because they gave him antibiotics and it like threw off his system and then it triggered eczema. So I don't know if you also are dealing with gut issues. I used to be a colon therapist, so that was like the always like, okay, like if you're starting to have skin issues, that means that the beginning of it was your gut. So I look there for people. I help them find the right complex that's going to support their gut, and then I use an oil blend. It's yarrow and pomegranate oil.
Ooh, that's
And
lovely.
I use that on the baby, like all over him, and it just like his body just quenches it. The other thing is we made a homemade body wash cream instead of like the regular soaps, getting away from like the soapy stuff. That really helped, and not using hot water. So if you cool down your showers and then find like a cream wash, that really is good. And then I would look at the gut issues that go with it.
Right. Okay. And then also, Hawk was asking anything with osteoarthritis. So for arthritis.
Oh yeah. I mean, you want to get into like really good magnesiums and really good vitamin Ds, but what people don't know is that you should be taking enzymes with it. And that like, oh my gosh, like makes it so much more absorbable and you're able to get like some really good fibroblasts and fibroclasts to start rebuilding. I think most people think, oh, I'm just gonna keep degenerating, but you have to remember that your body heals so fast and it wants to heal itself. It can put back what it took, you
It
know? So
can. It's amazing. The body is so regenerative. Incredible. Any essential oils in particular for arthritis? And probably this deep blue as well, the blend of the deep blue, right?
the deep blue, but I would say adding in the lemongrass, adding in the
Mm,
frankincense, adding in there's more, but I can write out like recipes. So we want one for osteoarthritis, like hips area, hips and knees.
I don't know. Maybe he will pop on and let us know. But I think for a lot of people, knees is the most common, arthritis in the low back. So
Okay, knees, lower back. I have them start with the oils that I've shared. Those are like really powerful and work for everywhere. When I have somebody with TMD, I use the somatic facial blend that I make for people because more than likely it has to do with them not letting go of control as well. So I bring in
mm,
the emotional piece of like, what is it that you've been needing to let go of that really isn't working for you, you know? Like what's the little piece? And then usually they break down crying. They're like, oh, son of a bitch. I'm like, get rid of him.
yeah, and what you're not saying, it's also so related to our throat chakra, what we might not
Yeah.
be expressing anger that we're suppressing and not allowing to move through our body.
Yeah. I also have a really handy, um, what do you call it? The guide that has the somatic practices with the essential oil protocols. So I'm a person in recovery. So this book is also written in mind for somebody who is trying to get through this naturally. Just like people like us that's been in pain and we've been put through the doctor mill through our lives. People with addictions have had experienced the same thing and being gaslit and told what to do and put in a corner about like you have to be on these meds, you have to do this. But people need to know they have options. So that's the kind of information I like to empower people with is that you can do this instead of this, you can do this instead of this instead of just being blanket like, oh, this is the only option I have.
Yes. And I want to speak to this. This is a great little booklet you created, the Holistic Recovery Guide. Sorry, my background is trying to make it disappear. For addiction recovery, where can people get this this lovely manual you've created?
It's at kimureta.com. So you can get the essential oil blend there too, or I'll put it in the How do we make
I'll
it
put
so?
it in the Facebook group here.
So, yeah, that's a good place to get it from. You can reach out to me too, but I will be giving those recipes to Jenna, and you can ask me specifically for anything that, you know, you're dealing with.
That would be great. Yeah. And if you just want to also post them here in the Facebook group, the recipes, like a link, or, you know, you can link it in the chat here when on the replay, that would be great too. So people can easily access that.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Jenna?
No, just any more information about kind of what your offerings are that you wanted to share with the folks that are tuning in here?
Well, I like to host retreats, and I do that with my friend Amy Takaya, and so she does something called Hannah Somatics, and have you experienced that, Jenna?
I have, yes. It's powerful. I mean,
Yeah,
that's like the
so
OG somatics. Everyone's talking about somatics, but that was sort of like where that word kind of originated. And they were like, yeah, the first people to really develop that. So
yeah, the guy's name is Thomas Hanna, but he was around with Ida Rolf and Moosh Feldenkrais and all those people like the human advancement movement in the 70s. He was actually the first one to sponsor Moosh Feldenkrais to come to the US to teach some classes. So that's pretty neat. Um, Anywho, but my friend does that. And then, so she's helping people like change their muscle thing with their brain, like whatever muscles have been on for too long and causing pain, and helping to soften them and then turn the muscles on that haven't been helping. And then, you know, integrating that into movement. And then I get to take them into the water and practice water release therapy. So that's more about like how do you integrate the changes into your nervous system and also have some magic where you're like go under there. And like I'll tell you a funny thing. So one time my teacher, she had me upside down underwater. So you're not on drugs, but you are because you're underwater and just weird stuff happens. So in that breath hold, I don't know if you've experienced this in a long breath hold, sometimes you get like a message. And I got a message from the mushrooms in the grass, like dog poop mushrooms. Not like magic mushrooms, just like mushrooms in the grass. They were like, "Hey, do you know how we grow really fast?" And I'm like underwater going, "Yeah." And it goes, "Well, you could heal that fast." And I go, oh, what? And so I came back and I'm like, the dog poop mushrooms gave me a message. So every time I go in the grass and I'm picking up dog poop, I'm like, thank you, mushrooms.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
definitely. Water is just such a powerful catalyst for healing, for messages. It's definitely water is my healer as well. So I could see how you could get messages through the water. But thank you for sharing that so people can check out your retreats and all of that good stuff and your offerings on your website, as well as be able to purchase and talk to you about these oils.
Yeah, they can. So I'm just really appreciative of you allowing me to be here with you, Jenna. And you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but I relate to people through humor. So it just help people feel really comfortable with who they are by showing you the real me. You know,
Mm.
that's just I want people to just be comfortable in their body and allow themselves to, you know, reach their potential. So let your freak
And I
flag
love that.
flow with me.
Yes, and as you allow yourself to be comfortable with who you are and be yourself, then other people have that freedom as well to be themselves, which is truly what we all really want. So thank you for being yourself. And thank you for joining me today. And this was a wonderful and very informative mini workshop on essential oils and pain relief. And I loved those tips in the beginning, the somatic tools. So I'm definitely going to watch that replay and do those as well again and again as a practice as needed. And the tools and the somatic work together, or the essential oils and the somatic work together, is just incredible. What a powerful recipe for thriving and for healing. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jenna.